Thailand's Constitutional Court will soon hand down its verdict in the case against suspended Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra over accusations of ethical misconduct. The high-profile proceedings pertain to a leaked phone call between the leader and Cambodian Senate President Hun Sen back in June. A guilty verdict would see her removed from office and would make her the fifth elected official to be ousted in the past 2 decades. Let's talk to Thitinan Pongsudhirak, Professor of Political Science and International Relations at Chulalongkorn University, who is in Bangkok. Can you tell us, firstly, talk us through what is expected to happen tomorrow and the likelihood of Paetongtarn Shinawatra being removed from office?
Well, tomorrow it will be another dramatic day in Thai politics because the Prime Minister has been suspended and the decision whether she will be ousted and removed will come in the afternoon. So it will be a day of anxiety and suspense, but we've seen this kind of day before. There have been a string of prime ministers who have been suspended and removed before. So it's another kind of a deja vu. In her case, it's very damning what she said to Hun Sen. She basically called him uncle, said whatever he wanted, she can arrange, and then let's try to restore normalcy to her. To calm the situation in Thailand, in Thai politics for her. She also antagonized the Second Army Commander-in-Chief. So this, to the ordinary Thais, is very compromising, damaging. And for her position as Prime Minister, also deeply damaging. And I think made her look very weak and very kind of deferential to another leader next door. And they have a very close family ties too, the Hun family and the Shinawatra family. So that made it complicated and compounded her wrongdoing. So I think tomorrow, most people think that she'll be removed, but the Constitutional Court is very politicized. So we don't know what the court has in mind. It only takes, in Thailand, it takes 6 persons to overthrow a government, to remove a government. 1 person files a charge and 5 of 9 Constitutional Court judges agree. And that's the end of the government. We've seen this in the past.
It really is unpredictable. If indeed she is removed, what are the possible scenarios for installing a new Prime Minister?
She is banking, and her camp is banking on her continuity, because the situation of her removal would be very confusing. It would be very volatile. There would have to be a new Prime Minister, of course, and they would have to go back to Parliament to choose a new Prime Minister. And the candidates are very few. I mean, General Prayut is one, but now he's a Privy Councillor. He was a general that staged the coup in 2014 and was Prime Minister for 9 years, unimpressively. And then the other 2 candidates from Thai Party, from Paetongtarn's party, Chai Kasem, uncompelling, really unknown. And then the other candidate, Thitinan Pongsudhirak, Phumchai Thai Party, is more well-known, but his MP numbers are much lower than Thai. So very confusing what will happen after that. If they go to Parliament, they have to choose a new Prime Minister. The acting Prime Minister may not have the authority to dissolve the lower house. So basically what we need in Thailand, I think most people feel, we need a new election. Prime Minister was overthrown a year ago, and now another one, and it's very, the coalition is very wobbly, very slim majority, and Thailand has been unable to move forward. So maybe a new mandate, but getting there, it might require again the court's decision of the court deliberations, who has the authority to dissolve the lower house and call new elections.
So potentially, how long could this process take until Thailand has a new leader if Paetongtarn Shinawatra is deposed tomorrow?
If the stars aligned behind Thitinan Pongsudhirak, whom I mentioned, even though he has fewer MPs, half the size of Thai, he has the Senate support, and he has maybe establishment support. If they can make enough of deals between Thai and Pongsudhirak and form a coalition government, that could happen within a few days, could happen next week. We can have a new prime minister, a new government, a lot of horse trading in between. We saw this back in August last year when Setha, predecessor to Paetongtarn, was removed and Paetongtarn took over. So it could be a few days. Next week we can have a new government, but it could also drag on if there are complications coming from the court or more filing, more charges. I think that we are looking at some very murky hours ahead.
And as you've mentioned, it's a pattern we've seen in Thai politics before, Thai courts removing prime ministers from office. What does it tell us about the current political landscape?
It tells us that the forces that are at work are not elected. Every time there's an elected government, if you can imagine, over the last 2 decades, it strings 4, 5 prime ministers have been suspended, 4 have been removed. Paetongtarn would be the 5th one. And if you count the Move Forward Party that won the election in 2023, its leader also was denied the premiership. So basically, the judicial interventions have determined political directions in Thailand, political outcomes in Thailand. So basically, unelected authorities are running Thailand, but they cannot get themselves elected. And therefore, Thailand has been stuck because of this, either military coups in 2006, 2014, or a series of systematic and series of judicial interventions to overturn elected outcomes.
And even if Paetongtarn isn't removed, there are huge challenges ahead for the government, plenty of external issues to resolve, let alone domestic political ones.
Well, the simmering border dispute, Thailand-Cambodia, is ongoing, even though there's a ceasefire agreement, but it's very fragile. The sentiments on both sides, very nationalistic in Thailand-Cambodia, and there's no civilian control of the military in Thailand, and there's a dynastic dictatorship in control in Cambodia. So a very combustible recipe for more conflict and more military shootouts, clashes. And then there are other issues, we have internal issues, the economy is languishing, Thailand's international standing is at a lowest point. So even if she continues, she has a very slim majority in parliament, and she has really no policy accomplishments. So she would have a very weak and unbalanced, off-balance position, very hard for her to get things done as a prime minister and for the coalition government to get things done for Thailand. And therefore, I think a new kind of pole is needed to kind of get Thailand moving. But that requires some compromise and accommodation from conservative establishment forces, and that's not been forthcoming in recent years.
And what's the feeling amongst Thai people? What can you tell us about public sentiment? Is there appetite for change and yet another leader?
If you look at the election results from 2023, it's very clear. The top 2 parties won 2/3 of the vote, but they were denied power. So the winning party, Move Forward, was denied. It was actually isolated and dissolved and banned. Politicians were banned from that party. So Thai got to be the ruling party in the coalition government. So I think people are kind of, on the one hand, they are anxious and concerned that Thailand is losing a future. We don't have a future ahead because of this squabbling and constant judicial interventions, military maneuvers. At the same time, elected governments become unstable, then they get dissolved, they get banned, they get removed, as we're seeing. So I think either we'll get to some kind of a reckoning that people will have had enough and they want their future back. We saw this 5 years ago with young people protesting, but they were suppressed. It could either be another reckoning that will really be a groundswell, broad-based, or Thailand will kind of grind down and sink into a political decay and economic stagnation, and it will be kind of an also-ran wannabe country. And we're seeing that in recent years. I hope it will be the other way, that the trend will reverse. But for now, I think the establishment forces are in control and they're in charge. They're calling the shots.
We'll be looking out to see what happens tomorrow. Professor Thitinan Pongsudhirak, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.